Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to be talking entertainment, and I'm joined now by a guest who took Nigerian television by storm over the past decade plus and has continued to shine on her own terms, interestingly. So we're going to be finding out how she does it, why she does it. We see her when she wants us to see her, and we're glad to see her today. Damilola Digbite, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Ebuka. So good to see you.
Really good to see you. Yeah, same here. What's happening? You like to disappear from us. Why?
Yeah, I don't
Explain
like
to us.
stress. See anything that will give me stress. But I usually like to. I'm a bit of a hermit. I just like to spend time on my own. Just shut my doors and figure myself out, figure my life out. When I'm ready, then I'll come out. So yeah, that's what I just do.
So a lot of people who are on the outside might find that very confusing because they see, entertainment or celebrities as people who should be out there constantly, either doing their work or at least putting stuff out just so that, you are quote unquote still relevant, But you don't seem to care much for that. Doesn't it ever worry you with the perception that, oh, if she's not being seen, it means she's not doing anything?
Funny enough, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday. I had dinner with a friend and we were talking about this. And I was saying to myself, I never really I didn't really know I wanted the fortune without the fame. I don't know how I was planning to get that. But from the beginning, my idea was I want money. I wasn't really thinking I wanted to be famous. So it's a bit of a conflict for me. Honestly, I struggle with it because that's just who I am. I'm not really someone who's out there all the time. I don't like to be overseen or overheard. I don't like to be in people's faces. And we all know that, like you said, celebrity life is important. You have to be in people's faces like every second of every day as much as you can. So honestly, it's a bit of a conflict for me. I try my best, but at the same time, I try to keep a healthy balance where I don't feel like I'm losing myself. I don't know who I am anymore. And I'm trying not to look at it from the aspect of, oh, you have to impress people, you have to give people what they want all the time. So I'm not feeling constant pressure of, oh, I have to be this person that everybody expects me to be. So I try to just maintain a healthy balance as much as I can, and it's been working for me, it works for me.
Looks like it is. But you're talking about not being in people's faces every second. And unfortunately for you, but fortunately for us, you started off on a show where you were on our faces every day. Where a lot of us got introduced to you as Thelma Duke on Tinsel. We saw you every day of the week. And, we got too used to that. So let's go back to that. Was acting deliberate for you? Or did you get on Tinsel because you wanted to act? Did something happen by chance? Was this always a dream you had?
No, of course, it was always the dream. I always wanted to be an actor. I still want to be an actor. I love the expressions, the freedom to express ourselves, to be different people on screen. So for Tinsel, it was deliberate. At the time, chasing auditions, I wanted, acting to be my career. So I was activating. But Tinsel still came as a surprise though, because it was bigger than I expected it would be. I thought, oh, how we think as human beings, we're like, oh, when you're starting, humble beginnings, small beginnings. So I was expecting, okay, I would start as one waka pass or, some few cameo appearances before somebody notices me. Okay, I may not be paid from the beginning. I may have to do free gigs, but Tinsel was like, bam, it was huge. And it was my first gig. So yeah, it's always what I wanted to do. It wasn't a fluke. It happened.
People always complain about the transition from TV to maybe the big screen. Most times you get boxed into that TV star persona, and people don't necessarily see you on the big screen. Was it a hard thing to do for you to sort of start making that switch to do film? Did you feel boxed in for a while? Was that why you left?
So I did feel like that at the beginning because I noticed that many of the roles I was being casted for were intimate roles. So I think because of the kind of relationship that I had on Tinsel with my co-cast, as in Soji and Kwame, it was like, they were my love interests. So I was getting a lot of you have to be intimate in all your roles, and I think that kind of reduces your how do I put it? Your it just minimizes your potential, when you're just being boxed in the same place, or especially as an actor. I'm an actor in the first place, which means I'm a creative, which means I like to express myself. So I want to be the poor girl on the streets. I want to be the person selling plantain. I want to, experience different roles. But they'll tell you cannot sell plantain. You're light skin. Look at you. How can you? So yeah, it was a bit of an issue. It still is, honestly. I think it still is. But yeah, I haven't left, by the way. It's not like I've left the industry. I'm just very choosy, very picky. I think that's what it is.
All right. So, Nollywood is going through a very interesting time. We have a lot of these streaming platforms coming in now, and there's a lot of global eyeballs on the industry. So it's a very good time to be an actor, I want to believe, in Nigeria. But you were talking about being choosy. So how do you draw the line between, being, available so that the world, sees this talent that you have enough on all of these platforms that are available now, while also being choosy and not losing out completely?
I see what you mean. I think what we are beginning to realize as celebrities in general, not just actors, is that it's important to build your own stage. So you sort of have to take, and even with the producers, who are pushing limits and telling different kinds of stories from what we're used to, everyone is sort of building their own path to some extent, which I think is the future of things. If you decide that, okay, the producers are not really calling me for the kinds of scripts that I want, or I'm not doing, then you might have to sit down and think about writing your own movies, or sit down and think about writing your own short films, or whatever it is or think about being, just writing your own skits or whatever. But that's what a lot of people are doing now, even with the comedians. They're not sitting down and waiting for AY or Basketball to call them anymore. They're creating their own short skits and putting them on social media. So these are things that I definitely have in mind, and things that I'm working on at the same time. But I think it's time for everyone to control their own narrative.
Which you are. You've talked about a lot. So I might be wrong, but I feel like a lot of these decisions you've made, with regards to, being more deliberate with what you do and how much time you work, came with becoming a mother. How much is becoming a mother affects, the way you started seeing your work as an actor?
Well, I feel like to a large extent it did. But at the same time, I think it's really just who I am. I've never really been the type to be everywhere, to be seen doing everything and to be doing everything because that's what's trending, because that's what everybody wants you to see. I've never really been the noisy type. But definitely being a mother has added to it, because now I know that the two little pair of eyes constantly watching me, and they're not going to be little forever. They're going to be big one day, and they're going to be seeing what mommy's been doing, And I think definitely there's a huge responsibility that comes being being a mother and being a single mother, honestly, because now you are the mommy and the daddy, But it depends on you. Some people are mothers and they're still rocking their lives. Like, it depends on you, really, and just what your values are, what you believe in. So for me, yes, I think motherhood added to it a lot, but I don't think that I would have been any different even if I wasn't a mother, if that makes any sense.
So speaking of motherhood now, you were in a relationship that was public to an extent because of the kind of person you were in a relationship with. He was a fellow actor on the show that you were on. So a lot of people were sort of, a part of that story. And I want to talk about social media now and how it sort of, affects, how you live as an actor. How do you handle sort of, people's opinions, not on your work now, but on personal life? Because social media is very intrusive these days. And there are people who will tell you, well, you need to give a little because it also helps you sort of stay connected to the fans or whatever it is. How do you handle social media opinions, criticism, or whatever it is of your personal life? Do you log off or do you respond? I mean, we saw Jim Ike recently
I
go face to face with
know.
someone
And you
who
can
he felt
understand.
called him out. So is that something you could do, for example?
I think I've learned how to shut off. I've learned how to build a wall around myself. I've my experiences and just what I've been through has sort of it's giving me a new level of strength. I won't say I'm completely numb because at the end of the day, the truth is other people's opinions about you matters. Well, to an extent, depending on how much you want it to matter. So I think I've just learned to not take anything too personal. Even if I scroll through my posts or whatever and I see any comments, if you see anything I don't like, I block you. Nobody's above blocking. I just delete it and I block it. So really, I've just learned how to be stronger. I think that's what it is.
But do you ever really, stay away completely from social media? Does it ever not get to you? Isn't it also true that no matter how much you want to shut off, you still know that you need to present yourself a certain way, whether you like it or not? I think it was sometime in May you put out a post about how hard the fitness journey has been for you, and something about how it's hard now for you to keep sucking belly or something like that. That's obviously talk about how your image is to the public. So that still matters, doesn't it?
Definitely. Which is why I said that to a large extent, people's opinions about you matters. So that's why, you just have to draw a line and know, okay, at the end of the day, social media is not a person. Social media is a million and one voices from all over the world who have different experiences, different opinions. Are you really going to allow those people judge who you are? So I think you have to be able to strike a meaningful balance between maintaining who you are and maintaining people's opinions of you. You cannot lean more to one side than you would to the other. And I think that's where the real challenge is as a public figure, because you're constantly in people's eyes and you're thinking, oh, I have to maintain this. And at the same time, I have to do me. And that's why a lot of us are depressed and we're dealing with anxiety and we're living larger than our capacity. So I think being able to find that balance, and I call it a healthy balance, just where you feel like you're right in the center of it. It's okay. Everything else is gravitates around you as a person. You're self-aware of who you are. Then I mean, whatever comes, you figure it out. That's just how I live.
Let's go to still talking about personal life now and social media. I mean, September for a lot of people this year has been quite a month with celebrities and their personal lives on social media. A lot has happened. I mean, people have been saying this September needs to end because it looks like it's really going around before it reaches somebody else's turn. What are your thoughts on, intentionally or not, putting, your personal life out there? Generally, because there are people who, I mean, there are some things that happened this month where we know that, okay, people said they were pushed and couldn't take it anymore, which is why they just needed to vent. Is social media a good place to vent, you think? How do you handle situations where you feel like there's nobody else to speak with? And maybe you need to just put things out there. Do you think that's a good call?
I feel like when somebody goes that far, it's a cry for help. It's a desperate cry for help. They must have tried other avenues and they just need help. And a lot of times when we're just reaching for anything, we're not really thinking, that's not the time to start processing. We just need help. So as much as I don't think social media is not the law. It's not, there's no judge there who's going to, at the end of the day. But I see it as it's a breakdown. And so, as much as we can, we just, although they don't really care, they don't care. They don't really care. They're just giving them gist, this is what I think. I feel like, except this is a situation where you have been wrongly accused of something. For instance, you are you're a celebrity, you are influencing brands, you have a reputation to maintain. So if somebody wrongly accuses you to the public, you have to speak out to set the record straight. You have to protect yourself. In that situation, I'm 100% for it, because you can't talk bad and then I have to tell the world my side of the story. But when it's things that happen inside the house that's you don't like, they don't really care, it's just content. You're just entertaining them. So I feel like, as much as we can, let's just try to avoid it. God be with everybody. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's easy to sit and give advice, but you're not the one in it. So you don't know. They're breaking down, So as much as we can, we just have to be understanding.
Very well said there. Now, before we go, I mean, you've been away on your terms. You come back when you want to. Before 30 was great, by the way. What are we looking forward to with Damilola in the coming months, if anything?
Well, I am working on a few projects. I've sat down. I've gone inside that my hole that I go to. I have hibernated enough. I have, re-strategized, and now I'm working on a few projects that I'm sure in the next couple of months we'll hear about. Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, everything goes amazingly well. But yeah, let's just say in a few months I'll be adding a few more titles to, my recent actor, TV personality, all of that. So we're working hard behind the scenes, and we're not hiding. No, we are just we're just re-strategizing pretty much. So yeah.
You're one of those who's done, you've done TV, you've done film, you've done stage, I believe. So what is this project you're talking about? Which of them?
Record album. I want to start singing now. I want to start singing now. You just see Dami. Maybe to find me. I'm kidding. No, I'm not going into music, guys. No. But Tinsel, now, we can't let the cat out of the bag just yet. But you'll be one of the few people to know.
No problems. Good luck with everything. Looking forward to you, being back on our TV screens and on the big screen as well.